Well, I think I'm almost done with this guy. As we left off, we had everything put back together with the exception of the carburetors. I was going to rebuild those, and I needed my pump block-off plate for the front of the case up there. And the pump block-off came today. Let me show you what it is. Basically what it is it has a little piece inside there that goes on the end of the crankcase to block off where the pump was. And you screw it down, and then the two little nipples go on the oil inlets on the carburetor. And I finished building everything for the carburetor. It's all done, put new diaphragms in it, cleaned everything out, so it's ready to go. So I just need to put the little nipples on the carb and stick it back in. So I am going to take this out and see how well it fits down inside this piece itself. Let's see if I can get this off. Okay, so I'm going to figure out exactly where the holes are. It goes right down inside here. Oh, very cool. Just like that. Actually kind of snaps into place. Kind of, sort of. I don't know, it looks like it may be. Yeah, I don't know why it's not fitting, but I'll get in there with two hands and figure it out here in a second. So that's kind of the idea behind this thing. Alright, you see it down in there. Fix the oil pump block off plate. Had to take the Dremel tool to the pump plate. It's right there. And shave it down just a teensy bit so it fit in the hole. So now I need to replace all the fuel lines all the way back to here and get the carburetor put back on. And we should be ready to go. Alrighty, I have the entire fuel system out now. This is a crucial step when rebuilding these jet skis, is to replace all the fuel lines. You got to take apart the fuel selector switch and put a little Vaseline, make sure the O-ring is okay. Replace all these fuel lines. You can see how my finger gets all black whenever I put my finger on it. Well, that's what these old fuel lines before ethanol was introduced into our fuel, and it just overall age and everything. That's what the insides of the fuel lines are doing too. So you need to replace all those. Replace your fuel filters. Clean up your water separator. You can see that gunk right there. That can cause air leaks. And like an idiot, I didn't check any of this stuff when I bought this jet ski. I should have, but the guy told me it was okay, man. It was all done. Well, it hadn't been. It was all just old crap, and I should have, replaced it. So anyway, I'm headed up to my local auto parts store to get a whole bunch of this fuel tubing and replace the fuel tubing before I throw it all back together. The real hard part of this is getting the oil tank out. You have to take the oil tank out in these 96 models to get to the fuel separator, which is actually kind of back in here. In the 95s, they're actually back by the battery box, which makes them a whole hell of a lot easier to work on. But this oil tank was actually leaking, is what I found out. So I'm glad I did take it out, and I've got, because the oil separator mounts to the oil tank, I've got an extra oil tank I'm going to throw back in there, just in case the person wants to convert it back to premix. But other than that, that's where I am now. I'm headed off to the parts store. Alrighty, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to set the high and low speed needles for initial startup and setting after rebuilding the carburetor. Little advice. You see this little line on this these SL700s, it's like an 1/8 inch fuel line. Don't break that. I did. This one piece right here, I tore one. I'm having the hardest time finding replacement for that. It is like damn near impossible. So I don't know, I'll find it and get it fixed, but yeah, just don't break those. Word of advice. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to set our high and low. If you look at the side right here, you see that this is labeled high and low. And then high and low. So, and what I did is I take the little black caps off of the screws to so that way I can get in there with my little tweaker screwdriver and adjust them. The way the 700 wants to be run is 5/8 out on the lower and a turn and a half on the high. Now, because I'm running a premix, I learned from a guy recently, is because oil displaces fuel, you want to richen it up just a little bit to start off with, and you can adjust it once you get out on the lake to fine tune it. So what I'm going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to cinch it down all the way till it stops, and then we're going to go, basically it said 5/8 of a turn out. Who in the hell comes up with 5/8 of a turn? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to 3/4. So that is our half, and then we're going to go here, and so that's pretty close to 3/4 or to 5/8, and I'm going to bump it about another 1/8 of a turn because of the premix situation. So same thing with this guy. We go in. This one's you kind of see I have to go and kind of cattywampus on it. It's real frustrating. So we're going to go in all the way with it, and I'm going to come out. There's a half, there's a 3/4, and then I'm going to bump another 1/8 of a turn. All right, and then the high, remember they said they wanted a turn and a half out. So there's a turn. Oops. And then there's the half, and then I'm going to go another 1/4 turn just for good measure. And if it's fouling spark plugs, we'll lean it out a little bit. But all right, so okay, well I got 98% of it done. 10 feet of fuel line is not enough. You need about 11. I have this much left over, which is right here, and I need to replace this line right there. So as you can see, I'm short by about 1 foot. So no big deal. I'll run back up and get some, and finish working on it whenever I get back tomorrow from work. So I'll be home from work tomorrow. So other than that, it's all done, and we're expecting rain tonight, so I'll put the cover back on, tilted up so that way it doesn't hold water, and that should do it for this evening.